Happy Monday, guys. Start of another week. We are back at the Collington project. We were out here last week. We came to check on site progress to see what the situation was with access and the state of the building. We've came back out this week. We've just met the installer, the guys who are going to be installing this job for us. They have came out, done another cross check. The build is further on. It's looking like installation will probably go ahead. Delivery Friday, start fitting Monday.
Let's go and have a wee walk around the site. We'll just have a wee look around and just a kind of general take on the progress that's been made and some of the things that we noticed that still needs to get done, just to allow us to kind of make sure the installation goes ahead as planned next week. There's a roof on, which always helps. And so it has provided a little bit of protection. Keeping in mind, this is a kind of UPVC aluminium project, so it's it's not as kind of it's not as critical that it's 100% dry. Albeit there are some timber products on this, so we want to make sure that we're as dry as possible before we go into the installation side of things. And you can see openings are ready. External membranes have been kind of lapped and cut to allow the windows to go into place. A couple of things that we noticed is that the kind of base plates and things that are running along some of the kind of bigger floor to ceiling areas, they're going to need to be cut out and block work put in place, because obviously the units that are going in there, there's a lot of weight on those areas, so that needs to be reinforced. That work will need to be done this week so that it can kind of set and go off in advance of the installation team coming in to do the work that they need to do. And then beyond that, it's just a case of generally going round, checking all the openings, a couple of little things, so just the logistics of how a certain area is going to be tackled. As you can see here, this is going to be the kind of stairwell area. We've got a large kind of window. It's 3 windows coupled together, so backs onto kind of trees at the back of the site. We're just going to have a look at exactly how we're going to tackle that in a kind of safe way, so that everybody protected at all times, but we're able to get the windows into place and secured and installed exactly as they need to be. So a couple of wee bits like that. We're just going over it just to make sure that we're exactly where we need to be for these windows and products arriving on site next week.
So from where we were a week ago, there is a lot that has taken place. It is quite far on now. The fact that the roof's on will prevent a lot of the issues that we normally see. Scaffolding still needs to be adjusted, there's block work that needs to be done. It's all achievable within a week, but we need to now put it back to the contractor to make sure that they're on target. We've got a load-in plan, so we know where we're bringing the windows in. The installers are happy with how they're going to do that. They've got lifting equipment and all the kind of lifting plan in place for bringing likes of the window that's behind us just now, this absolute monster. I mean, that's, it's 2 tons of glass to manoeuvre. So if you see this in terms of scale, there's Steph. What height are you, Steph?
5'10".
So Steph's 5'10". That gives you an idea of how big that opening is. Now we need to go and order building materials for the cowshed for our own project, which is also behind. And back to the office, get some work done. I thought windows were expensive, but timber seems to be just as expensive now. So that's 500 quid for the first batch of materials, which will probably get the majority of the wall done, but no much more after that. But yeah, it's done. Gets delivered tomorrow. So we'll nip along to the cowshed now, see how Chris is getting on setting out the display wall, and back to the office via getting a tyre and take it from there. So, quick stop into the cowshed there. Work is progressing, which is good. So internal partitions are getting created, which is good. However, the floor that got poured is still not right and it's off level. So we now need to resolve that. So that means that the screed is going to again get poured for the 4th time tonight. The floor is proven to be an absolute nightmare. Good morning. It is Tuesday. We have got a pretty busy day today. Lots of meetings, to be honest with you. Steph's been out first thing in Bridge of Allen, looking at a new front door for somebody, big entrance door. So he came through to Bridge of Allen early to meet the client, measure the door, and see what options they would like to go for. I have then came through to Bridge of Allen as well to meet him so we can go for quick coffee and a catch-up. We then have a marketing meeting out near the cowshed, and after that we're going to stop by the cowshed and see how progress is today. The materials that we ordered yesterday should have arrived and be on site. They were meant to be on site for 8 o'clock this morning. The floor that got poured that was still slightly uneven has been amended. So hopefully there's some stark improvements with that and the way it's finished, so the guys can crack on internally. So hopefully today we're going to see some decent progress with regards to how the showroom and the floor space looks. Would you look at this? All the gear, no idea we are now driving and vlogging at the same time. Which maybe isn't a sensible thing, because us in multitasking, or men in multitasking in general, don't go well together. But got a mount for the DJI Osmo, which is really good. Don't think it's very straight, but we'll fix that. We are currently on our way to the cowshed. Yesterday was pretty much an admin day, as you will have seen, because we were out the office all day on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. We literally had back-to-back meetings with our marketing lady, and we had, myself and Steph had our kind of weekly catch-up meeting as well. So, as I've said before, when you spend a full day out of the office, you're constantly on the back foot, then trying to catch up on work for the rest of the week. So that's what yesterday was spent doing, was pretty much just catching up. Way through there now, go and meet Steph, do a bit of filming. We've got some other bits and bobs to catch up on. He's got the kids because schools are on strike, so he's, being daddy daycare as well as business owner. So we'll go and catch up with him and see how we're getting on at the cowshed. So we are at the cowshed today. We've not been here for a couple of days due to meetings and site visits and things that have been going on. However, we've already been in and we're kind of blown away.
Big changes.
Massive changes over the past couple of days. It's amazing the difference a couple of days makes when the floor's down, the materials are here and the guys can just crack on. Chris, who's our joiner, who you'll see, some character, made in Germany on his van there. Chris has done a superb job, especially in building the big sliding door opening. It's huge when you see it standing there, and I'll put Steph in front of it to give you a bit of proportion.
Perfectly. It frames the Wallace Monument.
Yeah. So the whole
distance there.
The whole purpose of putting the door where we've put it is to capture that view. I'll be the cameraman, pass it off to Steph. Steph's wearing the branded apparel today. See that?
merch in store soon.
Yeah, you buy that in store soon. So we'll take you around and show you what we've been up to.
And then
I'm leaving that in.
Nearly one for the blooper reel. So, big change. So you come straight in. This is going to be the kind of the main showroom area. One of the big changes is the fact that Chris and Johnny have been working on this enclosure here for the Q4 product. So we've got the area for the big sliding door, and then the two other Q4 products that we're putting in either side there. At the moment, these guys are putting on the kind of the roof element of that structure so that ongoing maintenance can be done to the kind of up and over door. The main space that you can see here is still quite open. This is just going to take kind of temporary displays. So once all the other bits and pieces are done, such as painting, carpet tiles, all that type of stuff, we'll be able to kind of get cracking on this. And then some of the kind of big changes that have been made, or some of the changes that have been made, which really start to kind of give you a feel for what this place is going to look like and what the different spaces are going to be, is the framing. So as you can see, two office areas that have been configured here. Still a wee bit of framing to be done on the front here, but we've got space for the doors. And then inside the offices, we've got plenty of space for kind of desks and everything else that we're going to do. We're going to have more product on the front of the office space. So we've got kind of sliding doors on one, and then on the opposite side, we've got space for bifold doors, and then there's going to be other displays to the front of both of these areas. And then moving through here, little corridor, we've got one door to the office here, we've got one door to the office here, just so they're kind of offset. This space here is, as we've kind of said a couple of times, the kind of the design suite area. So in the centre here, we're going to have a kind of coffee station, which will be full height, so that we've got a lot of storage, and we've got a space to kind of to bring the clients in. We'll have a little sitting area over in the corner here, where they can kind of sit and get a tea and coffee when they come in. We've then got the kind of the meet and greet area, where we've got the coffee bar. Behind the coffee bar, we have the kind of main boardroom and kind of design suite area. So we've got a lot of ideas for this place. We've got a lot of different bits and pieces which are going to get crammed into here. But as you can see, we've got a pretty sizable area. So it's roughly about 5 by 5 in order to fit. On this side, on the back of the coffee bar, we're going to have the media wall. So big TV where we can go through all the different design features and specification for quotations and things. On the opposite side, we're going to have some storage, boardroom table in the middle. Off of those, we have our small little staff kitchen area, and then the kind of main bathroom, which is going to also house a shower, and then right here we've got the accessible toilet. So there's not a lot going in, it's a small space. We're really putting the majority of the emphasis on the kind of design suite and then the showroom area, and beyond that we've got the areas that we needed to have, such as the kitchens, the bathrooms, and a couple of office spaces. But already the space has been transformed by what has been done. You can really start to get a sense of what it's going to be like kind of walking in here, bringing clients in here, getting the kind of product in here and getting set up. So it's really, it's really mind-blowing actually, because on Monday we didn't have any of this. It was effectively just an empty shell still. A couple of wee areas of the floor which needed repaired here and there had been repaired, or were in the process of being repaired. None of the framing was done. None of the kind of temporary display stand types areas were kind of up. So we've come a long way in 4 days, and hopefully we can continue to kind of push on at this pace and, be in here before too long.
Yeah, I think all in all, a good week.
It's been a great week. It's been a great week. Didn't start great, still a wee bit frustrating.
Yeah.
But actually to be stood here now, if I was just kind of like watching the video, I would have thought that it was probably 2 weeks to get here as opposed to 4 days. So,
yeah,
like a real kind of big jump. I realised that will maybe slow a wee bit once we start to kind of run cables and plumbing and things like that. So, some of this just goes up quite quickly and easily, but real progress made this week. It's awesome.
I'm currently on my way to go and have a look at another office. Temporary for 2 to 3 months, just to get us into the new place. It means that we'll both be able to work in the same room, we'll both be able to work in the same environment, which is great. It just gives us a place to get up in the morning and go to work, which I think for Steph, when he's got, twins under 5, a 7 and 8-year-old running around as well, it's all very well working in the home office. It's not so bad for me when Harry's at school, but it is a distraction, and kids don't understand that when dad's at home, he's at work. They just can't, if you're in the house, you're in the house. So they'll come through when you're on a conference call, or they'll come through when you're on a Zoom call, or they'll come through when you're trying to make phone calls. So these things can be a slight frustration. So I'm heading at the moment to an office complex in Alloa, where there is, I think, 6 or 7 offices available for let just now, on short-term flexible deals. So I'm going to go through, have a look at it, see if anything suits our kind of needs and wants, and we'll take it from there. Good morning. It is finally Friday. We've got a busy day ahead of us today, so it's a big day for the company today, and that our first big order, this is for the project in Edinburgh, gets delivered today, gets delivered to site. So we've got our install team on site awaiting delivery for the goods, which are due to be on site between 8 and 10. I'm just going out, really, I just want to see the offload goes smoothly, everything goes to plan. Steph is on the phones this morning. He's got quite a lot to kind of try and work through in terms of opportunities that we're looking at the moment in terms of projects, so he's trying to get ahead of the game with that, because next week we've got a couple of days out of the office at the Best Festival, which I'll go into a wee bit more, or Steph will be able to explain a wee bit more about that. We have to go and collect the keys to the new office, so still kind of can't quite believe that we've done that, but needs must to try and push things forward. It's it's money that wasn't in our budget when we set the business up, to have 2 offices effectively seems slightly crazy, but we need something to get us up to the point where the cowshed's complete. As I said, I think it'll, in the long run or the short term that we're going to have it, it'll make us far more productive, and it'll just make mine and Steph's kind of working situation a lot more cohesive. And then that's it, that's the weekend. We can chill out for a couple of days, edit these videos again, and we go again on Monday. So, what an eventful morning that has been. We're on site, windows are on site, which is great, they've arrived safe. However, we can't get the forklift or telehandler started in order to move that to get the truck into place. So the hire company that dropped the telehandler seem to have delivered a dud, or certainly one that's got a damaged fuel pump or something's not working, so we've got a bit of a problem there. We're going to try and utilise the crane to crane the windows in. The pallets in this one are huge, and I'll take you up just now and let you see them. So here we are. This is how the goods arrive to site. John Mitchell providing the goods as usual, and this is the load for Grant Avenue. It is huge. As you can see, slider on this one here, or this slider here, is so big and so tall that it wouldn't fit on a curtain sider, so it's had to be loaded on its side in order to get it in. All the windows individually packed, everything wrapped and sealed, ready to go. So now we are just in the process of moving the crane round about so that we can safely crane the windows off and move them into place. So crane's now moving, and let's get this offload done. So this job is the job that keeps on giving. The ground conditions aren't good enough. They will not support the weight of the crane with the windows. So we are now in the process of repositioning the lorry so that we can move the crane forward, and we're going to rock and roll them. So literally just lift them off and drive each pallet down onto site. That's all we can do. So that's what we're about to start at the moment. So we officially have the first and biggest stillage onto our platform, ready to load in. Now that you're standing next to it, you can finally appreciate the size of this door. It is absolutely huge, 2 of them. So we are now ready to get these offloaded and into the house, which will happen on Monday. The loading on this job has been an absolute nightmare. We've had broken down telehandlers. When the truck has arrived, the pallets have been stacked extremely tight to each other, so it's been very, very hard to sling it. The entrance to the site that was meant to be widened hasn't been widened, so we need to crane it in over the hedge. It's been challenging, to say the least. However, the guys are working through it, and hopefully in the next half hour, everything should be in here, safely offloaded and ready to go. And just like that, all windows are in place. Single-handedly, the hardest offload experience I've ever encountered. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, but safely on the deck and in situ, all the windows. Now all we need to do is move them from here and get them in there. Job done for the day. What a morning that has been. Probably, I've done this for about 16 years, like this line of work, and I'd have to say that was probably one of the worst offloading experiences I've ever encountered on site. So obviously you've seen already that we've been to that job a few times. First time we went, it wasn't ready. Second time we went, we met with the contractor, went through everything, discussed what was required, planned ahead so that loads of stuff could get done. But one of the main things that had to be resolved was the access to the site, because the pallets are so big, they simply would not fit through the opening that's there. So we were assured that that would be taken care of and put in place, and unfortunately it didn't happen. Site manager was on a different job, turned up to site this morning. It was just, anything that could go wrong did go wrong. The telehandler that arrived at site was not working, had broken down, so we couldn't use the telehandler. We then thought, right, okay, that's great. Well, there's a crane on site, we'll use the crane. No crane operator. And we've got to get these windows, off and in place, off the truck, so the truck driver can go and do the other jobs that he's got on. The fitters have jobs booked in after this job that's getting fitted for us. So everything has to happen, and it just felt everyone was against us. But kudos to the install guys. They worked tirelessly. John Mitchell-Hollage, another fantastic driver, provided there, more than happy to help. The crane driver that we managed to get in from an agency pulled it off the bat really quick, managed to get everything loaded in really, really difficult lifting situations. So we're there, the job's good to go, it's a good result. So now I'm heading back to Alloa to go and pick up the keys for our new temporary office. So I need to go in, pay the deposit, pay the first month's rent and sign the lease. For that, then back to the home office for a meeting with Digitize to finalise stuff on the website. But I'm glad there's some quiet time in the car just to decompress a wee bit, because no matter how many times you do it, it still makes it, extremely nerve-wracking when you're lifting, 2 tons of very expensive windows and doors into place. It never ever gets any easier. So, bit of decompress time, get something to eat, get the rest of the tasks spattered out for the day.